Islam, peace, Moors, peace. Islam. If you could see this, let me know. Just let me know in the chat, y'all. Trying something new out. So let me know if you could see this, Moors. Okay, Islam. All right. Looks like we good. If you can hear this, let me know. Okay? Just gonna say, let me know if you can hear this too, okay? All right, good. Good. All right. Okay, good. We good now. So we about to get it started. Don't go anywhere. Okay? All right. We're gonna have a quick discussion. Feel free, to type in the chat. Um, gonna speak on something real quick, and just want to say I appreciate y'all. Um, Make sure you hit that share button though. Do that for me real quick. Everybody share this. This is gonna be a real short video, but we're gonna talk about something that I think is important, and just to clear up something because there's a lot of confusion out there as usual. So Islam to Brooks Bay. Peace. Okay. All right. So just like I was saying, just hang around, click the share button. All right. Make sure you click that share button, and we're gonna discuss something. And really, we're just doing this. We just had a meeting, just talked about some stuff, man. There's a lot of different ideologies and things out there. You have a lot of Moorish groups popping up, or Moorish themed groups, right? And I don't say that to disparage anyone or to take shots at anything, anyone, any groups. I'm just being real. You have a lot of groups out there, a lot of new ideologies and things coming into the mix, and one of the problems is, okay, you have you don't have the structure. It's every man for himself. You can do anything. You can do whatever you want. You take something from here, take something from there, right? But no one's following the structure. No one really has it all together. Okay. And so people are trying to, circumvent what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali established. And it's really important that we don't do that. But we're going to explain why. Okay. And so once again, I'm glad, some people on here. Make sure you click the share button. I'm going to play something that we just talked about this. And I'm just going to play this for you so you could hear it. And hang on. All right, cool. All right, so let me know if you could see and hear this. Okay, yeah, I probably can't see that at all. All right. Peace and love. Peace and love to Maxine. All right. Real quick, I'm trying something new. Never did this before. Let me know if you can see this. This is brother also here in Columbus. He was just asking about the consulate and the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I kind of just see that a generalized answer, just saying one is legit and one isn't. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Like, I'm not trying to downgrade the Moorish American. Can you see that? I'm trying to see something. So Islam to the Sheikh, Alinde El. Peace and love. Okay, I see what I'm doing wrong. All right. Okay, so bear with me. Trying some new things out. All right. Trying some new things out, but we're gonna see if this works. All right. Okay, so can y'all see that on the screen? Let me know if you can see that on the screen. Okay, you got it. Y'all can see that, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Good, good. There we go. So you can see me and you can see that little box up there. Perfect. All right, so here we go. Okay, so real quick, just real quick recap. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, just going to explain the importance for the most part. Just gonna come out outright with it. We're gonna explain the importance of the Moorish Science Temple of America, why it can't be circumvented. All right. Once again, not talking ill or down on any other organizations, any other groups, whatever anyone else is doing. We're not doing that, but we are explaining why this can't just be skipped over or glossed over. Okay. And the reason for this is because people are coming into this from all different directions, right? People are finding out about this on the internet, finding out about this in the streets. Some people finding out about this in the pen. I mean, like from all different directions, right? Just independent research, right? Your friends, family, cousins, people telling you about this stuff. You're learning about it. People are coming into this and they don't know the source. All right. And it's extremely important to at least study the source, find out for yourself why it matters, why it's integral, why it can't be left out. When you gain that insight now, move however you want after that. But know what you're doing, what you're really doing. And it's really important because people are dealing with so much information that if you really learn what's going on, you you can see the error in a lot of the ways that people are moving. Okay? And I'll give you an example real quick. Most people are, circulating these proclamations. You want to proclaim your nationality. That's a beautiful thing, right? They don't teach us about this stuff in school. We just, it's something in our DNA. We're coming online. We're learning about this, right? So it's a beautiful thing. The media is not covering it, right? They're not trying to help us, wake up. Okay. So it's completely swept under the rug, but we're still waking up. And that's a beautiful thing. So people are finding out about it. You got these proclamations circulating online. And when you look at the proclamations, like if you've been studying this stuff for a while, you can look in there and you see so much stuff just pulled from here, there, all over the place, put on that paper, right? Or on these PDFs, if you got it off the internet. Okay, it's got the clock of destiny. It's got the zodiac constitution in there. It's talking about all of these different things, right? And the zodiac constitution doesn't even apply to you if you're not a member of the clock of destiny. You know, I mean, the brother who created it, CM Bay, is not here with us anymore. Okay, but if you look at the organization that he established and how he set it up, how it was run while he was alive, it was for members of the clock of destiny. It wasn't for everyone. They had criteria that they wanted their members to be, to fit into. So if you didn't fit that criteria and you weren't a member, that stuff didn't even apply to you, right? But people are finding out about it and you taking ownership of it, and I feel that and everything. I'm not down in that, but I'm just saying that you might not even know what I just said. That this is an actual organization that has criteria for their members, and that if you're not a member, that doesn't apply to you. Okay. And so that matters because somebody actually created that. A person, a real person created that. And this was for people who are part of that organization. And so I just said that I'm going to be quiet and let this video play. Listen to this. Make sure you share this. This is real quick though, but it's just straight to the point. So check this out. And like I said, make sure you share this. This is a brother also here in Columbus. He was just asking about the consulate and the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I kind of just gave a generalized answer, just saying one is legit and one isn't. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Like, I'm not trying to downgrade the Moorish American consulate or anything, any other Moorish groups. The reason I said that, though, okay, is because the Moorish Science Temple of America, okay, as established by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whether you realize it, whether any of us realize it or not, is actually recognized as a legitimate society, a legitimate nation state. And that's extremely important. I'm not sure if my cousin Ronnie's on here, but we were talking about this earlier too. He's also a member here. I was talking to him about how important it is to actually join the Moorish Science Temple of America. And in addition to that, to align yourself with this society, and then to move in accordance as a Moorish American. All right, I'll get to that in a second, though. As far as the society, why is it officially recognized? This is also in alignment with one of the modules we did before, where we were speaking on why the Moorish Science Temple of America, according to international law, is officially a state. All right, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali actually went through certain steps, 5 or 6 steps, all right, which are required to be recognized as a state, according to Rivier's law book. Riviere, Rivier. Any body, professing to be a nation or state has to have sufficient numbers to actually maintain and perpetuate itself. All right. So it can't be met by like a casual gathering of individuals, a society of bandits or pirates, right? So the Moorish Science Temple of America in 1928 had over 100,000 members in just 3 years. They had 36 temples throughout the hemisphere, right? Allegedly, even established the temple in Mexico and Cuba. Okay, but there were 36 temples throughout the hemisphere. They were all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast, Midwest, down south. It was in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I mean, they were all over. And it had an independent economy, the Moorish Guide, the Moorish Manufacturing Company, several businesses, grocery stores. And I'm not saying this to harp on the past. I'm just saying even with the turmoil that happened that made this institution crumble from within, it's still here. It didn't disappear because the structure was established. Okay. Then it has to have an organized government. It has to have a governing body to maintain justice within the territory. That's a qualification number 2. We have that. A lot of people don't know that. With the Moorish Divine and National Movement, you have the executive rulers, we have the governing body, the officers within the Moorish Divine and National Movement. You have the grand sheikhs, the governors, the grand governors. We have an Islamic nation state. All right. The Holy Prophet established this, made note of this within the questionnaire. You can see that on the back of the questionnaire in our authority. All right. We have several public speeches and articles and everything declaring this. But you actually have, the Supreme Grand Council, Supreme Grand Sheikh, and the Grand Governors, Grand Sheikhs. All right. That's the executive, legislative, and judicial form of government. All right. It's the constitutional theocratic monarchy. This is very important because we have a governing structure and body that's been set up. And it's actually, we actually still have that setup that we adhere to. So it's very important. You cannot be an official, recognized society, nation, state of people if you don't have this intact. All right. The Prophet established that and it's still here. It didn't go away. Then you have to have a fixed territory which the inhabitants occupy. Can't be nomadic tribes, right? They're excluded. All right. And then we have that also within our Quran, chapter 47, verses 6 and 7. The Prophet establishes the dominions. If anybody's not aware of what I'm talking about, the Moabites from the land of Moab who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit Northwest Africa, they're the founders and true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with the Canaanite, Hittite, Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from Northeast and Southwest Africa across the Great Atlantis unto the present North, South, Central America, and also Mexico and Atlantis Islands. Then it says, before the great earthquake which caused the Atlantic Ocean. This notes our dominion, okay, and our inhabitation or our domicile, right? And that's found within the ancient records. So what the Prophet said, this is already known, even though it's not common knowledge, right? And that satisfies the third, I guess you could say the third criterion, right? They have to have a fixed territory. We have it. The Americas are ours. And we have this through our Holy Prophet. Then you have to have the capacity to enter into relations with the outside world, management of foreign affairs, right? We have this. The prophet established this when he went to the Pan American Conference in 1928, representing us in Havana, Cuba, right? These aren't just rumors. This actually took place, all right? And it was understood and recognized, okay? And then the fifth one is the inhabitants of that territory must have attained a degree of civilization to enable them to observe with respect the outside world, respect those principles of law which are deemed to govern members of the international society. All right, we have that with our religious creed, which is Islamism, and we adhere to this, right? So, with what other people are doing, they don't necessarily adhere to this. They don't necessarily have that structure. In many ways, it's every man for himself, because people are taking bits and pieces from here. They're taking bits and pieces from the Zodiac Constitution, which most people don't even realize that CM Bay, not knocking Freemasonry, respect to Freemasonry, but he held a high degree in Freemasonry, and he started his own organization. I'm not even going to call it a Masonic organization, because some Masons will tell you that it's not. But that's neither here nor there. He created his own fraternal organization called the Clock of Destiny. All right. And the Zodiac Constitution applies to members of the Clock of Destiny. It doesn't apply to everyone. And I've seen the proclamations and things that people in the Moorish American consulate are putting out. And it's the same stuff that people have been putting out for years, which includes bits and pieces of the Zodiac Constitution. And it's like, that don't apply to you if you're not a member of the Clock of Destiny. So I'm saying this in respect to the Clock of Destiny, because they actually encourage their members to join the Moorish Science Temple of America. But basically it's a Masonic organization, even if Freemasons will tell you it's not. It's basically a fraternal organization. All right. And it's something that he started to try to bring other Freemasons into this Moorish awareness. Okay. And the Clock of Destiny in the Zodiac Constitution doesn't apply to you if you are not a member of the Clock of Destiny. It doesn't apply. Just like our Constitution doesn't apply to anyone unless they are members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which we're going to go over today, since that's module 3. What does it say in there? It says, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people the nationality. But the thing is, like, these things don't apply to you if you're not a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's why it's saying with us. Just like when the prophet is given dominions, North, South, Central America, and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake. Now, it's not saying that that's not your heritage, but if you're not a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that doesn't apply to you. It's just like the brothers and sisters down the street. They can go out and kill someone, rob their own people, do whatever they want, because they're not adhering to Islamism. They're not members of the temple. They might even think, they might even know about some of the Moorish stuff and maybe apply to it when it fits them, but they're not adhering to it like a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America is, right? And in essence, even if people try to claim some of the things, some of the dominions, this doesn't apply to you because you are not a member of our society. The prophet didn't just do these things. One of the things that didn't mention was one of the criteria, but the prophet actually went into Cook County, established a religious society, an Islamic society, right? And he announced this to the world by incorporating a religious corporation under Herd's Revised Statute. What was this? In the wording of Herd's Revised Statute, it says that this is a body politic. When you look and see what a body politic is, you'll see that a body politic actually comprises a nation. All right? And so he set up a religious society, which is a body politic, which is a nation. And then he moved as a nation. And he satisfied the international criterion for being a nation. Okay? And so that's why this is important, and it can't be just thrown to the side. Now, saying this, did the temple crumble? Yes, from within, for different reasons. Members, people in leadership let it go after the prophet died. You know, now the structure is still here. The blueprint of what to do is still here. So we have to pick it up, and basically we're starting from square one. Why is it still important though? In light of some of the things that are going on now, where it looks like, you know, the administration could possibly pull off martial law. I was just talking to my cousin about this. Like, not saying that the temple's so wonderful, we're way up here and everyone's down there. No, that's not the case. Obviously, we have to build it up, but it still carries weight because it's still a nation. And by aligning yourself with the temple as a member and following suit, like in this picture, having your fez or your turban on, actually putting your elevay on your name, and moving as a Moor and being a real Muslim who practices Islamism. Say things get heated. Say this martial law thing lasts a little longer than it's supposed to, and Americans start getting upset and they start clamping down. Say things go sideways. You having a nationality does matter. And I've been hearing this for years, how you need to have that nationality card on you. No, it's not for flashing at the European, telling them you're above the laws. You don't even show it to them. It's for you. But you need to keep it on you at all times. And not only that, you need to keep your fez on you or your turban on you at all times, because you don't know when you might need to pull that stuff out just to show them that you are not black, because it does matter. And I don't say this to say that we're better than our friends and family or cousins, any of these people. I'm not saying that, you know, just saying it matters, because black still alludes to slavery. Okay, even though the law, the Negro Act of 1740, it's old, it's outdated. There are plenty of people who would tell you that doesn't apply anymore. We can see that it still does, because our federal government here still uses terminology that removes us from the family of humans. Do they not? That's one of the whole purposes behind the strategy for the census. They still categorize you as black, and by being black, you're not connected to the original peoples, any original peoples anywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter how they try to candy it up. Our rights to vote are still up for renewal every 2 decades, right? Not
That's
making
right.
it up. That's ridiculous. So black still means slave, no matter what anyone says. And if I'm saying that I'm a Moor, but I'm mixing something new with it, I'm Washita Moor, I'm this Moor, I'm that Moor, and I'm not aligning myself with the temple, I am out there by myself. Because none of this stuff that the prophet established applies to you if you are not a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And that's the end of it. So that's me not knocking the consulate, just being real. And it's not just the consulate. There's several groups out here, but it is what it is. If you're not in the Moorish Science Temple of America, none of this applies to you, because it's for members. And this is how come people, why I've been hearing this from some of the elders and stuff for years. Keep that nationality card on you. Keep your fez on. I don't have my fez on all the time. I keep it in a carrying case, and I have it on me, because we don't know. You being a Moor might be the only thing that saves you and family members, just because you can associate them with you. It's like, oh no, we're not black. They're with me. I'm a Moorish American. Boom. That might be the only time that you have to pull your nationality card out and show it to somebody else who's not also a member, to show that, hey, I am a Moor. L is my tribal designation. You know, Bay is your tribal designation, and I can prove it. All right. And okay, I'll give you another example. Getting like ammunition and stuff like that from the stores, anything like that, where they want to see a background check, right? They're running the background check on me, and I'm put Native American because I'm not black, and they didn't have other where I could write in Asiatic Moorish. Guess what? They can't look at me. They're not saying anything, because they can look on my license and see the L on there. They see my national headdress on there, and they know that there's something else going on. And they need to just shut up and leave it alone. Leave it. It's what I say it is. All right. This is not trying to distance yourself from your people or trying to act like you're something that you're not. You are returning to your ways. You have knowledge and information that the rest of our people don't. We have to teach them, but you also have to walk the walk and talk the talk. And so part of doing that is joining your temple and then actually following suit. Here, I'll show you some stuff. Actually going through doing the name change process, okay? And then letting them know on the record from your perspective it's a name correction. Yeah, okay. See, yeah, I hereby declare I'm a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, lawfully chartered religious corporation. I fix L at the end of my birthright, my birth name to demonstrate my religious birthright. Um, just basically, you need to let them know you're correcting your name by proclaiming that which you believe you always were. Person of Moorish descent, returning to your ancient creed and principles. Okay, so they want to call it a name change, but when the judge reads it back to you or the magistrate or whatever, they're going to let it be known that you are correcting your name because you are returning to your ancient divine creed and principles. And that needs to be done on the record. And it needs to be stated out loud and saved, as it pertains to you. And so I advise all Moors to do that and let it be known and walk the walk. This is how come Moors, you may have heard that too, that you need to keep your nationality card on you and keep your religious headdress, your national headdress on you as well, right? You don't know when you're gonna need it. I'm not trying to sell fear because I don't think we need to push fear. Okay. But I know a lot of people are worried with things that are going on. So you need to look the part. Okay? You need to go ahead eventually, get your elder bay on your name, put your religious your headdress too on. They're not gonna say anything about your turban or fez because you say, hey, this is my religion. And once you say that, they leave you alone. Right? And so everything needs to line up with who you truly are. All right. And we don't know when this will come into play. Hopefully we can just build and be prosperous and not be in a martial law type situation. None of us want that. Okay. So I hope that answered the brother's question. Not down in other groups, but none of this applies to you if you are not in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. True indeed, Islam.
Islam. And I say that we're open to working with all our brothers and sisters. I don't care if you're Christian in the church. None of that matters. We'll work with everyone. And I'm not going to beat them over the head with this stuff because I'm not trying to turn them away. If we can work together because of business or something like that, fine. Great. And if they'll listen to it, we'll try to let them know about this. But like at the same time, this stuff doesn't apply if you're not a part of this society. You have to join the society that the prophet established and become a faithful member and hold to this. Okay? We're correcting something that was done to us, that was stripped from us. So none of these other groups that people are starting up that are only like 4 or 5 years old or 10 or 20 years, none of that stuff carries the same weight. It's not the same. All right. And we're gonna go into the module. Did that answer the questions though, brother? Khalid?
Yeah.
Is not.
Okay. All right. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to type them in the chat. But for the most part, just wanted to explain, okay, why you can't circumvent the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's not just some religion, okay? When the prophet established our religious society, when he established the Moorish Science Temple of America, he established a body politic that's an Islamic state, okay? You can come in, yes, you proclaim your nationality, okay, but also, all right, he took steps, calculated steps over time, over a short period of time, 3 years, all right, that from an international perspective made this society more than just a religious group, all right? It's recognized internationally as an Islamic state, as a nation. All right. You have a governing body. All right. Who governs the what you call it group? I'm not going to call out any specific Moorish groups by name. Who cares? Because this covers all of them. All right. Who governs them? Who do they answer to? How is their structure set up? How do they make laws? How do they enforce laws? Okay. And so to the sister that said she wants to know if there's a temple in North Carolina where you can join. Hang on. Okay. I'm going to type something in the chat for you. You just go right there to that website. Okay. All right. So Islam, I'm going to say just go to that website, mstava.net. All right. And then if you're near us in Ohio, just send me a message or, in that area and, we can build from there, for the people listening in. But once again, you can't circumvent this, this society that was established by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. A lot of people, even some people who've been in this for years, don't realize that. Like, it's not just a religious group, All right, going back to what was stated in the video that was playing, according to Rivier's law book, all right, from an international perspective, you have to have people that are have a sustainable society that can perpetuate itself. He did that within 3 years, over 100,000 members, temples all over North America. Okay, an independent economy. All right. Now we have to work to get it back up to that, but it was already done. Okay. And the thing is, the Moorish Science Temple of America is over 100 years old now. Okay. It didn't disappear. Like, fads come and go. It didn't disappear. All right. May not have been popular. Might have only had a few, 1,000 members over the years. But it might have went underground, kind of. But it stayed alive. All right. It wasn't a fad. So it's self-sustaining. Why was it able to stay alive? Because it's an actual society. All right. A religion, you got a lot of people who go to church on Easter or something like that. But for the most part, members of the Moorish Science Temple of America changes your whole life, right? How you dress, how you talk, how you act, how you eat, how you conduct and carry yourself, your mentality, your self-perception. Okay. So anyone who tried to put it in some box of just a religion is ignorant. Even if they're like calling themselves a sheik or anything, it's like, what are you talking about? This changes every aspect of these people's lives, our lives. Right. And that's how come it was able to sustain through the years. Even when the temple started to dwindle, it still came, stayed alive until this day. Right. And then another aspect from an international perspective, from looking at it from international law to be seen as an actual nation, there has to be an organized government exercising control over maintaining justice within the territory. The temple had that. We spoke about that in the video. You have the executive rulers, you have the governing body within the Moorish Divine and National Movement. Okay. A lot of people see that's the thing, messing with all these groups and things out there. They don't tell you about that. You don't know. You don't learn that there's a Supreme Grand Council that, interprets the laws. You don't know about the executive rulers that make the laws. Right. And if they're not telling you that, they're doing you an extreme injustice, because that's civics of your own nation, of your own divine creed. Right. They're not even telling you this. Right. What they teach? I mean, like, don't we learn that in school to a degree? You learn how the government works. Right. So if you're joining some other group and they're teaching you how to go and take houses that people are living in and stuff like that, they're teaching you how to get out of tickets and how to try to get out of jail and all this stuff. Right. That's crazy. They're not even teaching you about our government, our governing structure.
Why aren't they teaching you that? Because then they're going to have to show you the divine constitution and bylaws. And once you read that, you're going to see that you're not supposed to be out here breaking the law. You're not supposed to be doing anything foolish that would place you in harm's way. Why are those laws in there? Because the prophet would not advise you to do anything that would put you in harm's way, because he was truly a divine prophet of the creator of Allah. He's not going to advise his people to do anything that would, lead to their destruction. So you got these so-called leaders out here telling you to go and stand on your square. And you just started learning this stuff. They're encouraging you to argue right to travel, placing you in potential harm's way. These aren't benevolent people. They're not caring. Some of them might not even be agents. They're just experimenting to see what works, and they're willing to experiment with your life. So if you don't see that on your own, now you see it. All right? So no, the prophet wouldn't have been he didn't tell people to do that. He advised the opposite. And so that's another reason why some of these groups will steer clear that. They don't even want to tell you about the government and inform you, which is like, that's an extreme injustice, because by knowing about this, now I have a responsibility to, help educate my people, to help let them know, right? And so, yeah, I'm really looking sideways at anyone that's like trying to shirk that responsibility. They're not even trying to tell their people the truth. It's like, okay, something's wrong with you. But hopefully you understand what I'm saying. The people that know this, and they don't even want to tell you that we have a government and how it works, how it's set up, how the prophet established this with divine guidance. He was returning us to our ancient ways, for real. These aren't just words that are being thrown around here. Okay. And so, so that was another criterion, is that we have to have our own organized government that's exercising control, able to maintain justice, right? We have that. And then you have to have a fixed territory, and that's in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? The Moabites receive from the land of Moab, received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit Northwest Africa, right? These are our ancestors, the founders and the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. Skipping down, their dominion and habitation extended from Northeast and Southwest Africa across the Great Atlantis, even into the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake, which caused the Atlantic Ocean. That's in chapter 47, verse 6 and 7 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. All right, that notes our dominion and habitation that's found in the ancient records. I mean, you could look this up. You can actually do research and find that there's truth in this, right? There's this thing, this scroll or tablet called the Troano manuscript. And it was written by the, I guess you could say, the ancient Olmec people. They'll try to attribute it to the Mayans, but it predated the Mayans. This is from the Olmec, who they call the Olmec, right? Okay, these are our ancestors, the ones who built the pyramids over here, right? And there's a scroll that survived to this day. Why? The Spanish came over and they started either straight up burning any books, any scrolls they came upon, or saying that they destroyed it, but shipping it over to the Vatican to get put up in the vaults. So basically it was destroyed. It was hidden from the public, everything. And there was one called the Troano manuscript that got smuggled to Europe, and it's in the museum in London. Okay. And I got a copy of it. All right. And in there, there's a passage where listen to this, the Olmec people, all right, ancient Moors, pyramid builders, high civilization, they describe witnessing the continents break apart. Okay. They describe witnessing lands rise above the sea and lands sink above the sea, right? They witness all these earthquakes and volcanoes and stuff erupting, all happening at once, and the land's breaking up, and some of their people getting separated now.
So they describe this. Why? Because they had an ancient culture that dates back thousands of years. Okay? Thousands. Remember, the United States is they celebrated bicentennial in 1976. Okay? So it's not even 300 years old. So I'm just saying that to say the Olmecs, dated back thousands of years, and they had a culture that was way older as far as how long their empires lasted, older than what we're living in right now. All right. And they described witnessing the continents break apart. Okay. And these are people who some researchers would attribute to being the ancient Atlanteans. Okay. And I just share that to say that we actually, and they don't teach you this in school. That's why I'm sharing this. There are actually written documents from eyewitnesses who witnessed, who saw, and were there when the continents broke apart. And these were the people who built the pyramids and stuff over here in Central America. All right. And we have someone who was born in North Carolina. All right. Who came to us and reconnected us to that. All right. In 1886, that's when he was born. How did he know this? So he had divine insight and wisdom. All right. And so, yes, that's great. That's amazing. So a lot of people want to be connected to that. But guess what? It's the Holy Quran of the what? Of the Moorish consulate? Of the Washita nation? What? No. It's the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's what it's of. If you are not of the Moorish Science Temple of America, this don't apply to you. Period. Point blank. All right? That's it. Okay? If you're not of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that chapter 47, describing our ancient dominions, describing our current empire, it does not apply to you. You got to be of it. You can't try to claim what sounds good to you and throw away what doesn't sound good, right? So that's, the prophet established the dominions within our holy book is there. And this is also written down in ancient records. We have eyewitness account that nobody can discount. Like I said, the Troano manuscript is in the Museum of London. All right. There's no doubt about its authenticity. All right. They've had it in there for hundreds of years because this is what the Spanish got when they first came over here. It was one of the things they didn't destroy. Okay. And yeah, so that validates our dominions being over here. You also have the Born Stone over here in I think Cape Cod. But look, it's a known fact. But you have to be what? The Holy Quran of the what? Of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which means if you're not of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that don't apply to you. That's why in the divine constitution, it says, with us, you must proclaim your nationality. Okay? With us, with the Moorish Science Temple of America. You can't skip around it. All right? If you're skipping around it, you are robbing yourself of this, of all this that applies to you. All of this, you're keeping yourself on the outside. And another thing the prophet established, another criterion was they must have the capacity to enter into relations with the outside world, right? Be able to handle foreign affairs, right? And the prophet did that when he went to the Pan American Conference in Havana, Cuba, and was recognized, right, as our head of state, our leader. It's a done deal. Okay, and then you have to have a high degree of civilization to be able to, observe international laws in society, relate to your international family, and we have that with Islamism because that's our divine creed, right? So I know there's so many outliers. Like you got people who this applies, you like it, you hearing some of this stuff and you want to vibe with it, be like, nah, I'm not no Muslim, I'm not with Islam. You don't even know what Islam is. That's the sad part. You don't know what Islamism is. you're thinking Islam is what's being practiced by Arabs, you know? And I'm not knocking it. It's just that most of what you see them doing, that's their culture. Those are cultural things. That has nothing to do. You can't put cultural barriers on something that's universal, right? Like you can't limit the creator of the universe to a region in the desert. You can't limit Allah to the Middle East or the North Africa, right? You can't limit something that's universal. It's on all the planets, everywhere, right? Interdimensional, everywhere. Everything in creation. You can't limit that to a language, right? So you know what I'm saying? Islamism, from our perspective, it supersedes that. We're back to the root. Nobody can tell us anything. We're at the root, right? So that's what I'm saying. People don't even know what that is. So it's good to come in and learn. You come in and learn, and you can build, and you can get strong with it in it, so that you can teach this to your children, so that you can live it, and so that you can teach others. Because at the point that we're at now, I mean, you know, a lot of people are feeling the crush. A lot of people are starting to feel like, you know, this world, this system is finally coming down, right? Well, look, this has been foretold for a long time. It's time to come on in. Return to your divine creed. You can't skip that. You can't keep it out. All right. You can't circumvent it. It's really important. You know, I don't see personally how somebody could understand this stuff and still be with the foolishness. You know, I don't get it. You should feel a responsibility to tell people the truth. All right. There's people who know this and who know what I'm saying, and they will still push the foolishness. No, I don't trust. I don't trust that. I don't understand it. But I'm telling you, this is real. Okay. And so all that stuff that I was just reading, none of that applies to you if you are not of, right? It's the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. In the Divine Constitution, it says, with us, you must proclaim your nationality. Not with some dude that's online. There's some dude online talking about he's a diplomat. He got diplomat cards. He got passports and all this stuff. No, it's not. You don't proclaim your nationality with this dude who's smoking cigarettes and all this other stuff, who's still getting drunk, you know, still stuck in the lower self. You know, that's not who the with us is in the Divine Constitution. All right. With us, with the Moorish Science Temple of America, not with the person who's pushing this stuff online, not with this group, this like 3, 4, 5 years old, you know, no. It's with the Moorish Science Temple of America. That should be clearly understood. And that is why some of these people, they will not tell you the truth. They will hide and keep things out. There's some people out there who there's certain things they won't read because it shows that they are trying to mislead you. Okay? They're even scared just to read the whole document. They only read portions of it. Okay? And that's crazy. So go to the source. The prophet established the Moorish Science Temple of America over 100 years ago. Go to the source. See what's really going on. Because if you do that, then you'll see that this is official, and you'll understand why it's official, and you'll understand why, you know, or look, you won't get caught up. You know, and that's a big deal. All right. So Islam to the brother Hakel. All right, Islam, in total agreement with what's being said in the chat. Islam. All right, and then shout out Islam to the Sheikh Alinde L. I'm gonna borrow something from his book. You know, it's not just about what you claim. It's also about what claims you. Okay, like you can't just claim to be Indonesian. You know, just because you've been studying this and it vibes with you, you like it. You know, you can't just say I'm Indonesian. You know, the Indonesian people have their own government. Okay, and you can say their government's corrupt or not. It doesn't matter. They have their own government that represents them. And that government has to recognize you as an Indonesian. They have to, or else you're not Indonesian. It don't matter what you claim. All right? They have to recognize you. Okay? So people don't realize that Moorish Americans, we have our own government. We have our own structure. Our prophet set it up before he made the transition. He established the Supreme Grand Council. He set up the legislative branch of the government with the grand governors, the grand sheiks, and it's in there in that divine constitution. The grand sheik is empowered to make and enforce laws with the assistance of the assistant grand sheik. You have a grand governor supposed to be for each state, right? So we have our own structure. You have the executive ruler of the national, from the national side of the movement, the Supreme Grand Sheik, Supreme Grand Council. We have it all there. We're official. We are civilized people. Matter of fact, we can tie ourselves back in to the creators of civilization. Okay? But you can't, you're not a part of that if you're just on the outside looking in and just getting information from here and there. So there's really nothing to be sitting on the fence about. All right? The structure was set up and you're either with it or you're not with it. Okay? And for most people that aren't with it, it's because you don't understand. Now that you learn that there's more to the picture, the least you could do that you owe to yourself is to, go ahead and join in, sit in on some meetings. One thing we could do, I know that the times like, with the coronavirus stuff, people can't meet up physically. I'm going to get a link and give it to you for our Holy Day cause tomorrow. Right? So we have Holy Day tomorrow. So everybody just hang on, hang in tight. I'm going to give you the link for our Holy Day Friday at 7. Really easy to do. Nobody's going to be at the club. Everybody's going to be at home. So just copy this link. All right. I'm going to put it in the chat. Just, click on it, copy it, paste it, email it to yourself, put it in a notepad, whatever you got to do to save it so that you can join in 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And so this is for Holy Day. That's Friday. All right. We do that every Friday and Sunday. So you could just say this link. And this is great, because you can come in and listen and find out what it is and what it isn't. Okay. And so, like I said, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm putting that in the chat right now. So everybody, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can get that. Just go in there and copy it. Hang on. What is it saying? What the heck? Okay. I'm going to try to share this in YouTube again, but is that link showing up in YouTube for the people on YouTube? I see it on Facebook. Copy that. Copy all that info and save it, whether you're on a phone or computer or what. Save that. That's for the Zoom link for our Holy Day. That's Friday, 7 p.m. And then Sunday at 7 too. So you need to come in and you need to learn this stuff, okay? Because this is really important. I can speak for somebody who's been studying this for a long time and didn't join the temple until a few years ago, right? And there was a lot that I didn't know that I thought I knew, because there's a lot of confusion out here. Okay, YouTube. YouTube's not letting me put the link up. Is it still not showing? Thanks, brother McKinney L. Is it still not showing in YouTube? Okay, we good in YouTube now? We got the link. It's a phone number and it's a link. Okay? You click the link. Won't allow you to copy. Okay, so let me see if I could just put the link. Just the link by itself. All right. So like I was saying though, just join us 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. And there's no excuse, right? A lot of people, they trying to party Friday, but you can't get out, right? So there's no excuses. So there's the link, right? That one doesn't have a phone number, it's just a link. But you can join on the phone, you could call in, or you could click on the link and come in. All right. So did y'all get the link now for the Zoom meeting? I'm using this new thing, so I'm just okay. You see it, good. So copy and paste that. Put that somewhere where you can get back to it tomorrow. All right. And yeah, I advise everybody to come in. I don't care how long you've been studying this, because like I said, I've been studying this stuff for years, like a long time, way longer than the majority of people that's watching this. Okay. And there was a lot that I didn't really understand until I got into the temple. For real. It brought clarity though to a lot of the other stuff, even though it was a lot of the stuff that I thought had something to do with it was on the wayside. It brought clarity to it. But I'm just sharing that so that the people are here. I mean, everybody can join in from the comfort of their home. Everybody's on quarantine, so there's really no excuse. Just click on that link. Friday at 7 p.m. You can come on in Sunday too. It's 7 p.m. same time, Eastern Standard Time. All right. And I say go on and share that with as many people as you can. Come on in and learn. Bring your questions too. All right. And somebody said, yeah, well, I see the brother Hakel answered in the chat. Thank you. Somebody said, why isn't the Moorish Science Temple recognized by the world? I just explained why it is. Now, you may not see us moving as a unit how we need to, but that's coming. That's what we're here to do, right? We're going to pick up the pieces and do what we're supposed to do. But the way that it was established is what made it recognized by the world. Okay? And the way that it was established under Hers revised statute as a body politic, when you look up what a body politic is, that has the potential of being a nation. All right? When you incorporate, you're just announcing to the world how you're going to do business, how you're going to interact. Say, okay, yeah, we're going to organize as Ghana. At some point in time, they have to incorporate, because that's how things are structured now. That's how nation states are structured. All right? You can't get around that. But that doesn't mean that Ghana is just a fictitious corporation on paper. Like, nah, it's a real nation. They have their own armed forces. Okay? It's real. It's legit. And so is the Moorish Science Temple of America. Okay? It does matter. And even though we have work to do, it still matters. Okay? It still connects you to an original people, an actual people, a civilized people, the creators of civilization. Being Black was something that was created, 200 something years ago. And it disconnects you from your heritage, your lineage, It even disconnects you from the family of humans, right? You just got conditional privileges. Okay? You're here to be abused. There's some, civil rights and things in there that give you some protections. But even with those, you're still getting abused, right? No one can argue with that. And I mean, look, I know it's confusing because you even see people that are sheiks and been on this for years. It'll tell you it's not a nation. And it's like, what are you talking about? They try to tell you it's just a religion when it's like, what religion do you know that changes your whole mentality, your whole outlook on life? It's not something you just go to on Easter. There's people who are Christian who go to church maybe every 2-3 years. And they're out hoeing and doing drugs, doing all types of stuff, right? You can't do that and be a Moorish American. It changes everything. Even the way you eat. You can't be out here eating pork and all this stuff. And if you're really going to get real with it, you can't even be eating meat anymore, right? It changes everything. It's a nation. And there's no contradiction about that. There's some people who might be confused or misled, or, you know, I don't know, might just be out here trying to mislead people. I have no idea. But I know I'm not confused about it. Okay, so you can tune in though. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and share that link again. You can tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. And if you have questions, go ahead and bring them, and we can answer them. And you can come out with a better understanding of what this movement is really about. All right, and why it's not just something that you could say mess with this dude, because there's actually a dude out here that be like smoking squares, like he's smoking cigarettes and talking about he's a diplomat and he's selling passports and stuff. And it's like, man, I mean, like common sense should tell you not to take that fool seriously. But and I'm not, I apologize. So I'm not calling them fool, but I'm just saying common sense should tell you to just leave something like that alone. Seriously. Like this dude doesn't have the power to give you anything or do anything for you. Common sense should tell you to leave these people who are just like focused on telling you to fight right to travel and all these other things that are going to make your life living hell, that are going to put you in a worse position. There was a guy who's if you're not in the Facebook group, join the Moors in America Facebook group. There was a guy who was in that group live streaming himself going to this house. It was a nice house in a nice neighborhood, and he's all going on the property. They have for sale signs on it, which means that somebody owns that property and is selling it. And so he's going on there live streaming himself, bragging about how he's going to do adverse possession, how he's going to take this property because it's our land. And it didn't work. He went to jail. He was in jail for a while too. Okay. And they put it on the news like it didn't work. So people were hyping him up to do that. The prophet was against that. He was not, he would not encourage you to do anything that would put you in harm's way. That had nothing to do with building up our nation. That had nothing to do with building up yourself. And then that's just plain stupid. You don't go try to take some mansions and some, nice houses and stuff that people own. Some property, land, whatever it doesn't matter how you want to put it, that someone else has claim on. If you're trying to claim something that someone else has a more concrete claim to than you, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be met with force. It's going to turn against you. It's not going to turn out well. That should be common sense, but it's, hey. And so if that was your exposure to the whole Moorish American nationality thing, now you know that you were in error. That stuff is in error. This is the true way. All right. That's it. And so Islam, as the brother Hakel said, the prophet represented us as being a nation of the people during the Pan American Conference in 1928, right? And yes, he said he visited Mexico as well. Allegedly, he established a temple in Mexico and in Cuba. I could be wrong though, but that's one of the rumors floating around there. That's why I say allegedly. I'm not going to put that out there like that's unfounded truth, but he did go to Cuba, all right? And we even have the ship docking records showing the Americans going to Cuba at that time during the Pan American Conference in 1928. And guess what? Prophet Noble Drew Ali was on it. It's real. Okay? And so this is legit. And even with us not doing our part and being as organized as we need to be, it's still legit. All right. So imagine how much more weight we will have when we move as a unit. Okay. But right off bat, even with us not being at our full potential with what the temple could really be,
right? It still carries weight, because by proclaiming your nationality, you are now a part of the family of humans. Okay? And it's that simple. And if anybody's telling you anything else, they're just running their mouth. All right? Because there's no reason on earth, which I'll show this just in case there's some people who don't know this. There's no reason on earth why the SF 181 form, which is just a government form showing the different ethnic categories, they call them races, but ethnic categories. There's no reason on earth why black should be the only thing on there that's described by color. It's described by itself. There's no reason on earth why black should be the only thing on there that doesn't have any origins in an original people of the world. And show you what I'm talking about real quick. For the person that said, how could you find a temple in Cuba? I said allegedly. Now, if that was established, it's more than likely falling apart by now. You know? I don't know. I don't know if they kept that up. But you would have to do some research on that. But going back to this, at the top, this may or may not be a good example, but at the top, you have the census form, which the census uses this SF 181. These are basically just race categories, right? Ethnic categories. All right. Now on here, okay. Let's see, what does it say? On here, we have, all right. For those who've never seen this before, white is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. Black, a person have black or African American, a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. So you see that right off bat. White, origins of the original peoples, and then Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. Black, just black racial groups. American Indian or Alaska Native, person having origins in any of the original peoples of North, South, and Central America. Asian, person having origins in any of the original peoples, and then it's showing the different places. Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific islands. Right? Original peoples, and then black African American, black racial groups, right? So that should, of course, send red flags to anyone. So if you have someone too that's like claiming to be a Moor, and they're trying to tell you that, that because you have actual laws and acts that say, okay, they outright say that a Negro is basically a permanent slave. All right. They're not really humans. So you have laws and acts that say this. Okay. 1700s, 1800s. One specifically 1740 of South Carolina that says that. It's called the Negro Act. Okay. So people will tell you that's outdated. It doesn't matter anymore. Well, yeah, it is outdated and it's crazy. And that's why they don't talk like that anymore. That's why they do slick stuff like this. Okay. And they're still using this to this day. All right. This says they put this together in 1997 and they're still using this to this day to define you, because black and African American still denotes to slavery. It's a person having origins in any of the black racial groups. You don't have origins in any of the original peoples of anywhere in the world, but everyone else does. Okay, so that's a big deal. All right. And so like you see on here, the dude's confused. He's like, why the black or African American the only classification with no origins in any of the original peoples? Okay. And so also I'll just put this in there too. The agenda that we have for the census is to, no matter what, click the some other race box and write in Asiatic Moorish. All right. This is understood from a government perspective. They know, okay, they have the definitions or the classifications for Asiatic and Moorish. All right.
This ties you back in to your heritage. You're more if you do this. It's known. Also, if you're like most of us, you have the oral histories of being Indian, having Indian in your family. You now know that those Indians look just like we look now. Okay, you can just write in more. You don't have to put this code in. Right, this is a hierarchical race code. You can just put in more. They understand it. All right. See, you can go look this up on your own. You can look up group code 7H8. Right? You don't have to write all that. You can just write more. And they have that as that's going to get you classified, right, as an indigenous American. They have more down as a tribe. Okay. And this is real. This is not made up. So you can do that. All right. But no matter what, everyone should click some other race and write in Asiatic Moorish. All right. And I don't know about you, but my granddad always told me that his father was a Blackfoot Indian. Okay. You see that it says Blackfeet tribe. So I check that as well and then write in more. Okay. We have to define who we are. It's very important. So you can't leave that out. And of course, nobody wants to go by the designations that they're putting on us because it denotes to slavery still to this day. All right. And once again, I wouldn't trust anyone who's saying the opposite. They're extremely questionable. Okay, so these are Americans, ancient Americans. They know that the ancient Americans were Moors, and that's why even on the census, when you put Native American and you write in Moor, they know who you are, right? Okay, so it's time that we define who we are and move as a unit. And yeah, if anybody has questions, feel free to join us. I put that in the chat. Just scroll back up, get that information. Come in Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can come in Sunday too. Ask these questions, especially, if you're not in the temple, you've never been, come on in. North, South, and Central America and the Atlantis Islands. That's all ours. Okay. My wife's her family is originally from the Caribbean, but she's from New York. But they're Asiatics as well. Haitians, definitely Asiatics. Haitians, Puerto Ricans. Right. It's also the Islam to the brother Carl L, who said that in the chat, treaty is the highest law of the land. The U.S. law is a declaration of rights of indigenous peoples. We have all rights to our land and our resources. So I say, don't let the colonizers tell you. Well, look, I'm in agreement with that. Look, we have to define who we are. Okay, the colonizer says that you, as a Black person, a Negro, something that they created specifically to keep you disconnected to your ancient and divine heritage, right? They defined it. And so you have to define who you are. You have to determine who you are. These are just one of the steps, some of the things that we have to do. We can't sidestep. We have to step up to the plate. Okay, we can't hide. It's time. We have to step up to the plate and be who we truly are. Okay, so that's really important. That can't be left out. All right. And there's no reason to be scared of the census or anything. There's like no way that doing the census is going to enslave you or put you in a worse position than you're in right now. Is look, if you don't participate in the census, if you live with someone else or something like that, I can't really speak on that. But if you have your own place, you're going to get a census form, right? You got your own place, you're going to get a census form. And if you don't want to participate because you're scared, you think it's going to, somehow put you in a worse position than you're already in, guess what? They're just going to have to determine who you are. And if they can somehow, talk to your neighbors or anything like that, or maybe they, go off of just something else. If they're able to do some quick, and when I say that, I mean just regular people that are census workers. If they're able to come by, and you're not participating, you didn't do the write-in form, you didn't do it online, they come by, you're not there, or you're just not answering the door or something like that, if they see you, they're just going to be like, oh, he's black, you know? Or maybe they'll just talk to your neighbors. Or maybe you live in a majority Asiatic neighborhood. So they're just going to put black. You're just going to get counted as black. All right. So it's like, yeah, you need to define who you are. All right. Don't let somebody else define it for you. Right. And I'm not trying to say that like the people that's working for the census are the bad guys. These are regular people who, you know, just doing that as a job. Right. They're getting paid. And like chances are they don't know anything about this. So they're just going to put black. All right. So yeah, you should do something about that. And that's pretty much it on that. So once again, I'll share this link one last time before we close out. Okay. And another thing, you know, I want to give honors. First and foremost, we give honors to our Father of the universe, the Father of the universe, Allah. We give honors to our holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and nationality. We give honors to the forerunner to the prophet, and that's Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. In addition, we give honors to all the L's and Bays out there. All right, all of you. Look, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join us on the Zoom app, or you can call in. Right, real simple. I say everybody copy and paste that information. Save it so that you can come back to it later. And that's it. Really good, especially now that everybody's, you know, on quarantine. Good to get some of these lessons in, and especially if you're new to this. All right. You need to know what it is and what it isn't. And if you came in late, rewind back and watch this, because I played a video that pretty much went through, you know, and gave you the rundown on why, you know, this is legit. Okay. Messing with everybody else online ain't going to do it. They can't do nothing for you. Okay. It's not saying people don't have value. It's just saying you can't circumvent what the prophet brought. All right. Okay. There's a reason why the prophet lets you know anyone that's against the temple is against him, and vice versa. All right. This is the instrument that he created for our salvation. Okay. So on that note, we'll go ahead and close out. I appreciate you all. Everybody have a great day. Join us 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do it every Friday and Sunday, same time. Peace and love.